Hey, Dr. Yad here. We're on day 7 of the planche journey, the journey to learn the full planche. This is my 3rd planche workout. In the previous video, I talked a little bit about the program, a little bit of a background for people just joining. I am a calisthenics athlete for over 14 years. I recently tore my biceps and now I am relearning the full planche. I'm also a medical doctor, so I'm sometimes going to do some analysis on certain things, but without any further ado, let's get started. We're basically going to do the same workout as we did last time. I'm expecting some improvements. Yeah, so let's just get started. All right, we're going to start up with some warm-ups where we just do presses to handstands. For multiple reps. Something I've already noticed is my balance on P-bars is dramatically improving. Last time I failed many times because of the balancing aspect. Another thing, people in the comment section were asking me, is this all you do for warm-up? Is that your warm-up? Like, aren't you gonna get injured? Thing is, warm-up can be very specific to each person. And even within a person, sometimes you need longer warm-ups during certain periods. Sometimes you don't need that much warm-up. And you'll notice that the exercise selection, so the order in which I do my exercises, are gradually getting me more prepped for the next exercise. So the workout itself has a progressive warm-up built into it, which is nice. But yeah, at times I'm going to do longer warm-ups and it all depends on how that set felt. So my shoulders felt kind of stiff, which indicates that I need to do another set. Another thing I could do is grab some dumbbells, do some raises. And sometimes, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today, is I do some grease to groove pull work if I do push work, which I'm going to do actually now. This is a planche video, but we're also going to do in between some front lever work. So I'm just going to do a top hold front lever. Ooh, I like doing those because it really activates my back and it gets my posture engaged. It's not something a lot of people will do because it requires immense strength. But that's kind of a pro side of having a lot of strength in one area and not having a lot of strength in the other area. If you want to do something similar, you could technically just go into a row position with your feet on the ground and pull yourself to the top and really try to retract as hard as you can. It feels really nice. Anyway, I'm sort of out of breath, so I'm going to just chill for a bit and do another press to handstand or then push up concentric sets. All right, next set. We're going to make it slightly more difficult by just holding the bottom position before we press up. And press. That felt pretty nice. Another one. That's pretty good. I think that's enough warm up for this. First set is going to be tuck planche presses to handstands. I'm going to take about a minute or two rest. Let's do 2 minutes so I can talk a little bit about grease to groove. Let's talk a little bit about grease to groove. First of all, I am going to do grease to groove. Last video I told you I'm going to do a little bit more research on what the literature says right now on grease to groove. I didn't do a lot of research. I kind of just, because I didn't have time, I looked into Keith Barr. The reason why I look into him is because the climbing community is doing a lot of finger strength work using his protocol, which is based on in vitro studies, meaning done in outside of the human body. I looked at the studies and at first glance they look very promising, but there are some problems with them. There are some gaps that haven't been filled yet. And I would actually like to get into contact with Keith Barr and talk about this with him. There's also other tendon researchers that I would like to talk with to kind of go into depth on whether Grease the Groove is also a good way to improve connective tissue adaptation throughout the long journey of a calisthenics athlete. Anyway, another argument why one might want to do Grease the Groove is if you look at the best athletes, the strongest athletes, I notice a lot of them are doing some implementation of Grease the Groove. Let me just quickly give a definition of what Grease the Groove is. I haven't looked it up, but my understanding of it is that you do several holds or presses or just movements where you don't give your full effort throughout the day. And the way Keith Baar, if you were to do the Keith Baar method, you would extrapolate his data, he would say, keep at least 6 hours between sessions of doing this and do a max of 10 minutes. That's his recommendations. Again, there's a lot of missing answers there, and there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered before you can really give that recommendation, in my opinion, especially in the context of calisthenics. But that is one way of doing it. Another way is just whenever you feel warmed up or when you're like on the desk working, you do like a planche press to handstand. That's what a lot of calisthenic athletes do at a high level. And I remember doing that too in the past, and it works quite good. Anyway, we're talking too much. Let's do a set. We're going to do tuck planche presses to handstand. Last time, I actually managed to do 3. On the session that I didn't film, I managed to do 3. If I can match that or do even 4, I'll be super happy. So let's do this. So one proper grip, wrap my fingers completely around it, and let's go. Oh, that was so good. So at the 3rd rep, severe underbalance, but I managed to push through. That was really good. Let's take about 3 minutes rest. I really impressed myself with that. That was a great set. Anyway, progressive, what was I talking about? Grease the Groove. So I'm just very practical. How am I going to implement it? I'll start off doing some tuck planche holds throughout the day. I'll probably do like maybe 3-4 times a week for now. And I'm going to see what that does on the body. Just gonna trial and error it. In the past, I've done stuff like this and it worked really well. So we're going to just try that out. And yeah, that. Anyway, I'm really out of breath. Gotta get ready for another set. So I'm just gonna see you guys at the next set. All right, next set. If we can get 3, I'll be super happy. If we can get 4, I will scream out of happiness. I won't actually scream, but it's just, I like setting intentions before doing a set because it's a great way to push yourself, and you really need to be able to push yourself when you're doing strength work or skill work. With hypertrophy, you can just grind. Let's do this. Come on. I'm gonna take a break. I completely messed that up. I'm going to give myself an extra minute. The thing with skill work is sometimes your balance is so bad that it's maybe a better idea to just take a little break and try again. So just give me like a minute. Okay, let's go. I lost complete balance on the 3rd one. Made it much harder than I needed to be. But like I said, I'll be happy with 3. Hopefully next session I can get 4-4. But now we got 4-3, which is already a huge step. Because last session I had 3-2. So nothing to complain, really happy. 3 minutes of rest and we do the next set. Okay, so now we're going to do an advanced tuck planche. Last time I managed to get 7 seconds. So I want to at least get 7 seconds, maybe even 8 or 9. That's gonna be a huge step, even though it sounds like it's only 1-2 seconds. It's really hard to get seconds on statics. But since I am a beginner, I'm probably gonna make good gains. So let me put my camera down so I can look at the form. And let's get hyped. So grip is very important. I'll talk a little bit more about grip in a second. But you want to basically put, I can talk about it now. You can put your grip down like this, right? So you start from the back and then you wrap around it. And then, yeah, this is good. Here we go. Come on. Come on. I don't know. Let's look at the footage. Okay, good form. Hips are a little bit too high. That's 7.5 seconds. I'll take it. 7 seconds. Just round it down. So in terms of grip has always been my hardest thing when it comes to planching. But recently I saw some athletes talk about this, where they talk about starting from the back, the ulnar side. You wrap around it and you want to make sure your entire palm has contact, so that you don't have like a collapsed wrist like this, right? You don't want this to happen. Instead, you want to be fairly stacked. The problem with that was I would often get a lot of pain around here. But I found out if I start, like they said, from behind, and I wrap my fingers around it, and then the thumb, I wrap around it like so, I'm able to actually have a pretty good, nice hand positioning for now in advanced tuck. I don't know how it would feel in full planche, and the reason why I mention it, a full planche has a lot more lean, and it can be very painful on the wrists or thumbs. So we'll see how long I can do this for, but yeah, I figured it was notable to share. In terms of mesocycles, I forgot to mention it last time, but I'm doing a skill cycle essentially. And the plan is to do a skill cycle until I don't make any gains anymore. Once I've started plateauing, right, on the skill cycles, I will start doing a hypertrophy cycle where the training completely gets flipped down. But I'm going to approach hypertrophy training a little bit different than I've done in the past, where I'm going to do a fairly small caloric surplus, and I will try to keep the exercises for hypertrophy as specific as possible to the planche. Meaning, instead of like doing dips, I might end up doing straddle planche push-ups. But I'm not sure yet. I'm going to do a little bit more thinking, researching, asking around to see if I can do something that's more optimal than what I used to do. Now I'm actually doing a caloric deficit, trying to get my body weight down to 60 kilos. And you know, you could argue, why would you do that? You know, you've lost muscle mass in your push muscles. 100% true. But for my other goals, one-arm handstands, for my bouldering, etc., it really helps to become lighter. So I want to get a little bit more shredded before I start the hypertrophy training also, where I can have a longer window of gaining muscle before I'm forced to cut. So it's for two reasons. It's for the other types of training, but also so that I have a bigger buffer while I'm doing all this neuroadaptation work. The deficit can't be too great because then I'm just going to be fatigued all the time. And yeah, let's do the next one. All right. I hope we can get more than 7 seconds. Sometimes the second set I do much better, especially when I'm still relearning a movement. I noticed that I can make huge gains within a workout, but we'll see. Oh wait, I need to record myself. All right, here we go. It doesn't feel as stable as last week. I don't know. Let's take a look at the footage. I feel like I'm still thinking too much. That's the whole problem with advanced stuff. You need to think constantly. Let's take a look. Yeah, hips still too high. Oh, then I fix it. I remember that. And I lose a little bit of protraction. And I think it's again 7 seconds. Let's see. Yeah, it's again 7.5 seconds. Or just maybe I think it's a 1 second increase. Because last workout, the one that I didn't film, I had 7.6, now I had 7.7. So there's definitely progress, but it's really slow. But to be honest, I'm fairly tired today. Just mentally, I didn't sleep too well. And bad sleep can have a huge huge impact on your planche performance or any other strength work or skill work. Anyway, we're doing something new today. Last time we did supported static holds with the resistance band, right? Around us. And I was scared. I mentioned that I was scared because I was afraid I would tear my bicep again and it just didn't feel right. We're doing planche leans actually. And we're going to do planche leans in quite an interesting way. So I'll grab the camera and show you. All right, so this is the setup. I have a measurement tape, magnetic, put right against here. I put my feet against that, so that could also be a wall if you're using a wall. And then I can measure that it's 70 centimeters now. And we'll see. That's where the start of the P-bar is. I grab around here, and then I do my planche lean. And if I want to do progressive overload, I just move the P-bars closer to there. So let me just show you guys a set. All right, so here we are. We want to hold it for about at least 8 seconds. And a nice thing about this position is we can actually really spend a lot of time trying to improve our form. And go. Very productive set. Very productive set. I don't need to look back at it, but I'm going to look at the footage so that I can see how long I held it for. That wasn't my max. It was nowhere near the max, but it's just good to know how much time I'm spending in the set. So let's see. I focus really on stacking my wrists properly. Form looks really good. And then at the end, I focused on the protraction. And this was about 8 to 9 seconds, which means the distance that I'm using right now is perfect. We don't need to change that. So we write down 8 seconds, and next set, we're going to do the same. Really happy with this. This is a great progression. I recommend almost everyone to do this. I like them more than the resistance band planches, but that's maybe because I'm super far off the full planche. But yeah, I definitely recommend trying this out. It's really nice and it's measurable, and that's so important. I love measuring and keeping track. All right, next set, we're going to spend a little bit more time into the hold. All right, so that we can see if we can actually hit the 12 second with this form. I had like a few seconds left in reserve, but that was good. Felt super productive again. Let's see. Form looks good. And we enter. All right, that was about 11 seconds. Awesome. Next up, straddle planche, push-up eccentrics. I'm not really talking much this time because I'm mentally quite tired. So I'm even wondering if I should post this. I'll probably just post it. And otherwise I'll make the barrier to post for the series too high. And the whole point is to keep it simple for me, but also for you guys. I'm not always going to talk a lot. I think important things for this episode is to know that I am implementing grease to groove in my training. I'll tell you guys a lot more in detail as I learn more. And important is that I'm doing a skill cycle now. And in this skill cycle, I'm doing a caloric deficit. And that's the most important things you need to know for now. And that there is a hypertrophy cycle coming later once I've stopped making gains. Right now, I'm making a lot of gains because I just started. And again, this is workout number 3. And we're already making amazing gains. So this set isn't much about the amount of reps. It's more about just teaching my body how to do the straddle planche push-up eccentric. And every time I'm going to try to get closer to locking out my arms at the top position. With that, I'm learning how to straddle planche, but also improve my general push-up strength within planche. So this is going to be a very useful exercise. At the same time, because we're spending so much time in the straddle position, I learn how to activate my whole body in the sense of posterior pelvic tilt, using my core to keep my legs straight, not piking as much. We're able to spend a lot more time in that body position, which you often can't if you can't hold the straddle planche for longer than 10 seconds. So this is a very useful exercise. All right, we're going for 3 reps or maybe 2. It depends on how it goes. Man, cramp. There's cramps everywhere in my hips. I'm doing side split training and I can feel those muscles crying. So my head is exploding a lot less. Some people in the comment section ask me, how can I fix that? There are people who have the same problem. If you're not super heavy, if you're not above 100 kilos, you can probably fix this. And the best way to fix it is by breathing in the proper way. So as you go in, you wanna, right? So as you go down, you breathe out. In a isolated movement, so if you're doing straddle planche push-ups, you actually do the opposite. So when you go up, you, that's the breathing. That's how you do it. But in this case, since I'm not strong enough to do that and I'm just doing eccentrics, we can actually breathe in, hold the position and breathe out as I go down because the bottom position was easier. Another thing you can do, or what happens automatically, is your body actually just gets better at using the right muscles. You're going to be more relaxed in certain muscles that don't need to be working, and that's also gonna greatly reduce the headache. So, felt a lot better. Let's actually take a look at the form. I feel like there's a lot to improve. Yeah, a little bit piked, still quite bent. Legs are too high, hips are too high. These are all signs of me being quite weak still. And I could definitely improve my eccentric. I am getting out of it too quick. So these are things I could improve. That's a lot of cues for one set. Oh well. Let's take a little bit of a rest and then do our last set of the session. And then that's it for this session. All right, we're ready for the next set. A lot of cues to focus on, but I think the overall general cue should be lean more forward and go down longer. That's going to fix all the other problems. At least I think so. If it doesn't improve it, I'll look like a fool. So let's hope it does. Okay, come on. Come on. Nice. Yeah. Come on. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Let's take a look. All right, let's see. First rep. It looks slightly better. Second rep looks better. Oh, actually looks pretty good. So third one looks even better. That looks great. That's it for this session. If you wanna keep following me on this journey and learn more about planche as I learn more about planche, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, all those YouTube type of things. If you haven't seen last episode, watch it. And maybe you can click already on the next episode if it's already out there. Anyway, this was Dr. Yad. Thank you for watching. Bye!